Episode 174. Are these comics going to make good film and television shows? We got Batman and Robin, and we have Lady Mechanika with the Devil in the Lake. Let's check them out right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And then, talking about comics, we got Lords of LA. That's my vampire mob set in 1950s Hollywood. This is issue 1, and we just got in issue 2. I am waiting for new covers to come in, but you can see that the artwork is pretty good. We got Marilyn Monroe in here as well. And this is Lena. She is a lounge singer who is turned into a vampire by the Dons of the city. She doesn't know which one. And she returns 60 years later after amassing her own power set to wreak havoc and vengeance on them. So it switches back and forth between today's time and the 1950s. It's good stuff, and I do sign them. If you'd like a copy, let me know. You can just write in the comments section that you're looking for one, and I will respond to you. But make sure you respond, because I still have one person that still hasn't responded to me yet. All right, plus, if you are a fan of Timothy Zahn, who else created Thrawn, among other things, and Kevin J. Anderson, who did the Dune books, and Brandon Easton, who did Peggy Carter for Marvel. Just a pile of very, very talented writers are coming together to do an anthology on the pulp hero Green Hornet, with cover art by Matt Wagner of Batman and Grendel fame. It's going to be amazing. We're going to be launching the Kickstarter beginning of the year. But all you have to do is go to the description below and see the link there for Kickstarter. And you can just sign up, and it'll notify you about when we launch. And we're going to have some amazing stuff. And we're going to have, books that have signatures in them, and a bunch of Green Hornet stuff. It's going to be really cool. But anyway, get notified just by clicking the link in the description below. All right, so let's jump into the Batman and Robin. So this is issue number 15. This is the second book by Philip Kennedy Johnson, who I believe is writing Hulk. And I really hope that's not a telltale sign of how he's going to be doing this, where it's just story's just going to go on, and I dropped Hulk. It never ended. It just never ended. And plus the artwork started to get bad too. But this continues the storyline of Bruce and Damian. They went to a charity function, and Damian was rude to a couple of the children there, and he was like a fish out of water. He just doesn't do social well. And Bruce, and they ended up having like some terrorists come in, and they started a fire. Bruce is like inside the boiler area trying to contain the fire. Meanwhile, Damian is upstairs trying to keep everything calm up there. They're locked in, and he has to swing across because he's basically in the middle of fire, and ends up using this huge chain as a kind of a grappling to try to swing across the fire. Now, I want you to keep in mind that he has no jacket, right? Keep in mind, okay? So meanwhile, Damian puts on these glasses or goggles, whatever we want to call them, for him to be able to see more clearly. And then we switch back to Bruce, who ends up completing his swing and jumps up into where the rafters are there, the window. And I think that's pretty cool, where he ends up jumping through and he's kind of exploding up on top. I guess the boiler is exploding. So meanwhile, Damian has his own issues because the chandelier is falling. He saves someone. However, we got a little issue. One of the girls that he was mean to doesn't make it. And I thought that was really sad. and especially for a comic to show that a child dying, and I think that's really going to affect him. Yeah, he doesn't know how to handle that, and then Bruce shows back up, and look, he's wearing a jacket. Where'd that come from? He just happened to pick it up out of the fire? I don't know. That's an error. But anyway, now he doesn't have it on again. The continuity on here is kind of poor, and we can see that the death is weighing heavily on Damien, and they're talking about a villain by the name of Memento, and Bruce is kind of recounting. I really like this picture of the all-in of all the superheroes. I think that's kind of cool. He's recounting some of his past, and he and Damien are sparring, and he's trying to let off some steam there, and I think Bruce is kind of letting him because the little girl keeps popping up in his mind, and I think that's great that we finally see, a death of someone affect a hero. Normally they just kind of blow it off, but I think that's kind of cool, especially with a child. But anyway, so he says, look, I want you to learn about your grandfather. And he says, I know all about my grandfather. He says, no, not Ra's al Ghul. Grandfather on my side, my father. And he talks about, oh, that's right, the book has sketches in it. So instead of putting photos, I guess he sketched out some stuff. But they're doing a research on this whole Memento thing. It's all pretty cool. It says London years earlier, and this is where he's learning detective work from somebody in London. So I kind of like seeing some of the training. It's almost like Arrow, where he's going back to the island. I think that works for Batman, to see some of the training and stuff like that and having a B plot. But anyway, so they're looking at the remnants of the fire, and I think the artwork is decent. I'm just not sold on the villain yet. We don't know enough about him. And we have another murder take place. And I have no idea who this guy is. I have no idea. But we see the Memento character, and a ship comes through the dock. So it's kind of a little bit all over the place. I like a lot of it, but some of it just feels like it's not connected yet. So I hope he connects it where he just doesn't go off into a tangent like he normally does. So I'm going to reserve on this one whether it's a good film or television show, because I have no idea what the plot is yet. But the beginning, having that as a cold open where they go to a fundraiser and this stuff happens, which then ends up becoming part of the plot of the villain. I like that. So we'll see. All right, so let's jump into Lady Mechanika. This is, I think, the penultimate issue. I think was one more issue left, and that's it. So Lady Mechanika is having a fight with her partner because her partner was in love with the fairy that was feeding off of him energy-wise and killing him. But for some reason, he was still in love with her, so the fact that Lady Mechanika got involved is still weighing on him. Whatever, the guy's kind of a jerk. But anyway, she gets pulled into a mission by I think it's the Russian Empress or whatever, where a group of people from London, I forgot what the name of the, whether it's Berkeley or whatever, one of the institutions in London, that I guess they came out to look at the monster in the lake, and they all disappeared, including some people that she knew, and that was this couple that they have their son is staying with one of the sons in the village, or the families in the village. But anyway, so she goes off on her own, and of course they've never seen. She's robotic. She's a cyborg. So she is. They think she's a demon because she has red eyes and all this other stuff. But anyway, they're trying to find this monster in the lake so they can find these people. But these people have been gone for a long time. I doubt she's going to find them at this point, especially with only one issue left. But anyway, so the girl there is the woman in the village, and then the little boy in front of her is the son of the two professors or whatever else from Berkeley. I'm just going to call it Berkeley. And they are heading to see to the encampment about where all the divers were staying, and they were going to dive into the lake to look around for the monster, basically, like the Loch Ness monster kind of thing, which probably isn't the best idea. So they say, oh, well, all the stuff is here, because she ran into some bandits and stuff like that, but she says, no, everything's here, it's still here. And she's like, I'm going to do a pose, and yeah, let's go. Whatever. So she's got all of her weapons, she's got gear, etc. They're looking for the second diving suit because the first one got damaged. So they end up finding the boat, and this is where I was saying that she's using super strength to right the boat. And they're like, what the heck? But they find the dead captain there, and they're going to take the boat out. And they're like, this boat is better for doing our mission than our little rowboat. And now we sink back into her partner who is drinking up a storm. And I think that's his niece. And she has a robotic teddy bear. Because remember, this is all steampunk. And they wake him up, and they're like, no, we're going to help Lady Mechanika. I don't know how they're going to find her. It's not like she has a cell phone. So, yeah, and they're like, you're coming. You need to get off your butt. We're tired of you moping around. We're tired of you being mad for no reason. We tried to save you. Stop being a dick. And he's like, all right, I'm going to stop being a dick. Just for right now. So, here they are back on the boat. And they're looking for the monster. They see a fish. Basically, that was the last page. And she gets into the diving gear to go underwater. And it's the first time we see, I guess they're trying to figure out things to do with her that we haven't seen before. But that's her underwater in the diving bell. I kind of don't like the fact that they removed the bars from the face mask, because that was what was on the other one. But she goes into like this tunnel, and she ends up finding the monster, and she's like, Sauron? So anyway, they're waiting for it to come up. I don't think they realize just how big it is, though. Oopsie. So they try to zap it with her weapons, but you can see how big it is from the bottom, and she's like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have woke him up. So, yeah, the artwork is pretty good. It's always, Benitez usually does a really good job. And, yeah, there goes the boat. So they found the monster, but they didn't find the people to save. And I think she gets eaten right there. I'm not sure. I think she gets eaten. Maybe she's going to find them all in her... It's kind of like Jonah the Whale kind of thing. I don't know. But overall, I don't think this particular one will make a good film, but there are other, I think there's like 4 or 5 other stories that are much better. The Clockwork Assassin was, I thought, pretty good. And Batman and Robin, we'll see. We'll see how this one goes from Philip Kennedy Johnson. All right, well, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Remember to give me that like, give me that thumbs up if you can. And if you can, subscribe. You want to get notified. All my videos will appear in your feed when I release a new one. And we do talk about movies, comic books, and television shows as well. And card games, we're going to be doing another Lorcana thing. I don't know if you're into Lorcana or Star Wars or other board games and card games. But yeah. Also, check out some other videos. I will see you guys on the next one. And Thanksgiving's coming, so I'm going to continue to say Happy Thanksgiving to everybody until it actually comes up. All right, have a great week, everybody.